Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ad Revival podcast, where we're bringing you everything Iris Prize. Today, we are going to be discussing one of the programs called Faith that we got to view at Iris yesterday. Faith is a collection of films that are all about the connection between religion and sexuality and how that can intersect and how that's treated in our landscape today. But I'm also here with Jess. How are you, Jess?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm actually doing pretty well. I'm very excited to talk about these films. I think they were very interesting, and I think we have a lot to say.
Yes. We've had many conversations already about this,
Yes.
so I'm really excited.
Yes, lots to say. I'm going to start with the first one. We're going to go chronologically, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But Witness, which was a film about a trans man in a Muslim community and being outed against his will, and it causing issues because he witnessed a marriage. And that was it was a really interesting concept. It might, genuinely, I feel like I had so much to talk about coming away from that. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I think it really delved into the elderly being religious and how they're so set in right and wrong and what's good and what's bad that they just sort of overlook certain passages of their religion for certain things that they believe are right and wrong, and they can blame it on, well, it's in this religion, it's in my religion, it's a part of my religion, so that they can sort of use it as a scapegoat and get away from just their own sort of beliefs of what is right and wrong. And I found it really interesting that they touched on that topic and how there was a lot of sexism in there as well, wasn't there? There was a lot of the women are separate from the men.
Yeah.
And now that a trans man is in our room, whoa, this is wrong, this isn't good.
It makes everything more complicated.
Yeah. It really it brought a lot of things to light that I had never thought about or had never really sort of looked into before, and it was really interesting.
Yeah, no, it was fascinating. I really enjoyed looking at it from an angle that included the sexism there as well, especially because of the whole situation of it has to be two men witnessing the marriage. So if this trans man was not being recognized as a man, it was causing lots of issues, which calls into question sexism in different religions and how women are viewed and respected in general, which I think was a really interesting topic to talk about after seeing that. But yeah, it was a really good, really interesting, it was a really great film.
Yeah.
The next one was oh my god, I cannot pronounce this film title. It was
The Hammer of Witches.
The Hammer of Witches, yeah.
Yes.
But it had because it was a Norwegian film.
Yeah.
Actually, it mixed Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish in the languages. Yes. The director at the Q&A afterwards said that they wanted to mix these languages because they spoke it themselves, but also because they're so similar and wanting to broaden the language of the film rather than just keeping it Norwegian, which I think was really interesting. What did you think?
I found it very interesting. I really liked the verbatim passages that they found from that period of time where there were witch hunts. I thought that was really interesting because I'm very much a history geek.
Yes.
So I was sat there being like, whoa, there's these passages from the times of witch hunting. Really cool. It got a bit confusing for me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It got very confusing for me. I was sort of what are they trying to convey? It really made me want to talk about sort of the rejection at first of people being queer, and then suddenly everyone's out and proud and happy, and it sort of shows the passage of time. It really made me want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's a good
because
parallel
it sort of felt parallel to it. But I really enjoyed watching it. It was really interesting.
It was beautifully shot, beautifully framed. It definitely kept me engaged during the whole thing. I feel like because the settings didn't change that much, I feel like you could expect it to get slow or boring or anything like that, but I really felt engaged, and you could really feel connected to what people were saying. You were very focused. I was very focused during the film. Yeah. But yeah, it was really a really interesting look at witch hunts, especially also because I don't think I mean, at least me personally, I never think of witch hunts outside of Europe. So, or not Europe, UK.
Yes.
And so it was just interesting also to see it through a different lens where it was pretty much the same and this common view of women and scapegoats. Again, like we were saying about Witness, scapegoats for different, like for their problems, basically wanting to blame it somewhere, and it really being a thing that was like universal for a long time. But yeah, I thought it was really, really fascinating.
I really enjoyed it. And after, in the Q&A, the director was talking about the link, because you mentioned you'd never heard of witch hunts outside of the UK. The director mentioned like the king at the time of the UK it sort of carried its way over to like Finland, Norway, Sweden, all of that sort of area, and it carried its way over and it sort of spread like a disease, which I thought was really interesting, because I found it really, honestly, I have so much I could unpack.
I mean, and that's also kind of like a parallel to like you said, homophobia, immediate rejection of people, like it spreading like a disease across, like, because I mean the witch hunts obviously were mainly about sexism, but you could also draw that parallel to like accepting LGBTQ plus people, of like that's the rejection of that being spread, and that being a very like UK I mean not UK but like because Britain was such an empire, you know, but yeah, it was a very interesting, it made me walk away with lots of things to talk about yet again. But then we had Friar Brennan is having a breakdown, which was an Irish film, a very Irish film.
Very Irish.
That was it was very fun. I know you really enjoyed it.
I really, really enjoyed it. I will not stop talking about this film. I really loved it. I went into watching Faith thinking it's all going to be really dark. It's all going to touch on really deep, sensitive topics. It's all going to be so serious, which I don't mind. Like if that's the way they want to approach it, perfect. They're within their right to. It's not my cup of tea, but I will happily sit through and watch all of these like deep topics get discussed or get like played out. But when Friar Brennan came on screen and it sort of turned really comedic and still quite dark and deep, but really comedic, it really just it made me so happy to see. And I managed to catch an interview with the producer and the writer after, and I had such an interesting discussion with them about a lot of things. And I asked them like what diversity means to them in the queer community. They had so much to say, and it was so interesting. And they touched on how they made Friar Brennan not a good or a bad character, but a morally grey character, which I really love. I love a morally grey character.
Yeah.
I love someone who isn't good, isn't bad, is just themselves and is doing what they personally think is good. And it really made me like, I loved it. And it was so interesting to talk to them after and hear why they made him a morally grey character. It was so interesting. It was really, I didn't know what to expect at all from it. I think I was very intrigued by it because I think there was very little that I knew about it before going in. And getting to see a very fun, quirky, comedic, like, film right in the middle of, like, right after the other two that were, like, quite serious, was really good. I enjoyed also just Friar Brennan as a character is funny. Yeah. Really funny. I had several, like, just... There's sort of him lusting towards John the Baptist and having these quite crude photos of John the Baptist up on his wall and being like, he's such a like sexy character, and like just him sort of like lusting over him. I found that so funny.
I must say, as someone that knows a lot about the Bible, the biblical references and biblical jokes that he was making, that I was getting, and I was like there were several subtle ones where I was like,
yeah.
Did you intend to make that joke? Because I got it. That was really fun. That was a really fun, like, I don't know. I just found it really, really, really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah.
And then the final film that we got was The Passion According to Karim.
Yeah.
Which was, once again, a very fun film. Yeah. A French film, completely in French. And it was about a theater troupe performing The Passion of the Christ, and about the main character of The Passion of the Christ, Jesus. And the teenage boy trying to perform Jesus at his best.
Yeah.
It was a very fun time. It was a very, like, definitely, like, a really good mixture. Like, Friar Brennan was probably mainly a comedy. But I feel like this one, it was a fun time. It was wholesome, but it was also, like, also serious things mentioned, and then also just like it was just a really good overall film. Like I just walked away being like, yeah, I liked that.
I walked away definitely going, I could watch that again.
Yeah.
Like, I'd happily sit through and watch all of these films again, but that was one that definitely made me go, I'd watch that again. I'd love to watch that again. It really, I loved the word ecstasy in it. It's such a fun word for me. I love the word ecstasy. But the fact that they used it to sort of go, find your passion, find what makes you happy, find your ecstasy, basically. And then him going through this whole like mode of like, I need to try this, I need to get exactly, I need to do exactly what Jesus did, I need to like do this, I need to do this, and then eventually he finds his ecstasy and it's all perfect. Is so like wholesome to see.
Yeah, it was a really sweet film, but also just like, yeah, just really a really good time. Honestly, it was just a really good time, a really good ending, I think, to those four. They all said something different, and all like had a different goal in mind, and it was a really good, actually diverse like collection of films.
Yeah,
they all had very different things to say. But yeah, thank you so much for coming and chatting to me about these films.
Yeah, it was really
This was
fun.
a great chat. I had a great time. And thank you so much for watching the Edvyad Revival podcast, which is brought to you by the Performance and Media students in association with the Iris Prize Film Festival here at the University of South Wales.